A pandemic of violence floods the streets of major cities as cases of the media-dubbed murder virus, MV20, soar, causing those infected to go on killing sprees. Caught in the middle, police detective Angela Miller finds her only trustworthy ally in the self-proclaimed psychic PI, Gerald Henry. As the two try to navigate the violence, they are drawn into New Age guru Abramelin Harvest's plot to heal the planet. Harvest's missive:
the world is sick, and humanity is the infection.
The cure: murder. From the twisted mind of Shawn C. Baker, author of A Collection of Desires and Shadow Play in Book 1, Kim and Jesse, comes his most vicious novel yet, Murder Virus. Available where books are sold.
Happy New Comic Book Day.
Happy New Comic Day.
Oh, man. So welcome to Drinking with Comics. I'm Shawn Charles Baker,
I'm Mike Wellman.
a.k.a. Mike Wallman, a.k.a. The Walrus.
I don't
Would that
know.
be a
If
good-
I don't
No,
make.
would
I
that-
don't think I'm gonna make it to the bottom of this can, bro.
So what kind of beer are you drinking? Heineken?
Well, I grabbed the most interesting thing I could find next door, and it's called raspberry creamsicle.
Oh, now come on, dude. If you thanks for, first of all,
I
you
deserve
got
this, huh?
Nobody to blame but yourself.
Dude, it's so sour. I don't like sour beers. So you're gonna get next time you come over, you're gonna get 3 raspberry creamsicle cans.
Oh no, I don't want none of that shit.
It was a 4-pack. Yeah.
Oh
What are
my
you drinking?
God. I'm drinking my standby, Sierra Nevada. In
Okay.
a bottle
Playing
this
it safe.
time.
Playing it safe.
Hmm. I heard an approval over there.
Yeah,
So hello to our live.
Just to kind of give you an
studio
idea
audience.
of the environment right here. Oh yeah, Kip is on his like 6th or 7th Miller Tall Boys.
Oh, wait, are we talking High Life, Light, MGD?
Highlight, yeah, champagne. Here, come
Champagne
here,
beer.
and Kip. Here you go. Check Kip out.
What's up, Kip?
We love
got-
every minute of
Oh
it.
my
Come
God.
down a little bit further.
Oh,
No, we
like
can
this.
see it. Oh
Oh,
man, I don't need to. High Life don't treat me good, so I don't.
He got pretty happy,
Down-
and he
down.
spent $300 on Batman comics today. So,
We're gonna
I got
say
a
on
whole
High
box
Life.
full right here.
so yeah. So you
We're
know,
gonna
we
say
just-
he spent 300 on High Life.
So,
No,
let me
he-
tell you,
he's got a box of Batman.
I
He wants
got
to show you here.
a whole box full right here.
Can you see it?
You know, it's all,
Oh my God.
yeah. I love it, you know. I could read
Well-
this stuff like real quick, you
Hmm.
know.
Dude,
It's
you love what you love,
my-
and that's awesome.
My duty to, you know, I just love Batman.
Yeah. There we go. And that's Kip, ladies and gentlemen.
That's awesome. Well, wow.
I'll tell you a sweet story.
Thank you.
So what do you got, man?
The first comic I want to talk about this week is the DC's Festival of Heroes.
Oh,
which
okay. What is this?
It's an Asian superhero celebration. So every character in here is Asian. All the creators that worked on it are Asian, and it's the kind of thing I don't usually think about. Like some of the artists, and like Marcus Toe. Obviously he's Asian, but I never really. It's like so that everybody's gathered, you know, to do this pretty epic 100-page anthology, and there's pinups too, like by Doug Chang, and that's a Jay Lee. Like I think that's Jay Lee. Yeah, that's Jay Lee. Look at that cool Batman.
Oh wow, that's badass. Is that, yeah.
Yeah.
Are the proceeds from that going to anything?
I mean, the proceeds went to pay the Asian creators that worked on it. There's a really good essay, and I mean, I think, you know, right now, especially with all the you know, I don't know how close you pay attention to the news.
Yeah, I know. It's
So it's
reasons
like
to make you fucking sick.
it's a reinforcement of you know what? Like these are human beings, or
You remember in X-Men back in the day, remember Strife and the Legacy? So remember how Strife was like a clone of,
he was like War Silver and stuff.
well, so he was like Cable, he's Cable's nemesis, and then you find out it's his clone, right? It's Nathan Summers' clone.
Oh Jesus!
And they had this, whatever the crossover was, it sucked. I forget what it was called. It might have been Executioner's Song, but basically, when Strife was killed at the end of it, his parting gift to the world was the legacy virus, which then killed a bunch of mutants and eventually people too. I think I kind of stopped paying attention after that. However, the reason I bring this up is because I feel like this Asian hate is just, it's like Trump, his like Strife, his like legacy virus. He's like, okay, you're throwing me out on my ass, but here's my parting shot, pick on Asian people now. Because we picked, I've fostered all this bigotry towards everybody else. I might as well,
Yeah, I mean, coronavirus was going to be here either way.
Yeah, I know.
To call it the Chinese virus or the Kung Flu.
Yeah, well, he's,
Yeah,
so, okay, my first pick here. So, Declan Shalvey, he's an Irish, it began, as far as I knew, as an artist. So I was introduced to him on Warren Ellis's Injection book a couple years ago, and it's one of my favorite comics. It's one of my favorite comics of all time. I mean, I can only hope they can bring it back, hopefully, but there's 3 volumes out there. It's worth its weight in gold, in my opinion, and part of it is the artwork. And actually, I take it back. I think before Injection, I think Shalvey worked with Warren Ellis on his Moon Knight, and they actually came up with that thing that is now like, a big part of Moon Knight's mythos, which is that Mr. Knight or whatever, where he wears the suit and the mask is tucked in, which I fucking love. Anyway, so he's been writing. So he did a graphic novel last year called Bog Bodies, which I did read and was awesome. It's a crime book about a heist that goes wrong. I don't remember it super well because I read it in one sitting when it first came out last year, probably about this time. So I need to dig it back out. It was a quick read, but it was great. But now he's got this series. So it's Declan Shalvey and Rory McConville are the writers. Joe Palmer's the artist. Chris O'Halloran's the colorist, and Hassan Asmani Allahu is the letterer. And it's called Time Before Time. And I really dug it. I believe it's going to be a limited series. It's from Image, and basically it's like these guys that work. This guy that works for a company in the future that have these pods where they can take people to different points in the past or the future. And so it starts in 1987. He's dropping this woman and her kid off, and like the kid's like, "What's the Wi-Fi password?" And the mom's like, "It's 1987." Then it goes to 2140, and he drops off his pod and clocks out for the day, and him and his buddy are talking about stealing one of these pods and getting away because this place is working him to death. It seems like it's the Amazon of time travel. And then
touching scene, well, I don't want to spoil it, but
don't spoil it, but dude, seriously, right?
Yeah, that was heavy. I read it. I did a speed read on it, cramming.
It's a quick read.
Tonight, it wasn't a quick read, but I tried. But you know what struck me on a personal level is the art reminded me of the guy I worked with in Gone South 2 and 3, Guy LeMay. I don't know if you remember.
Dude, I only have one issue of Gone South, so I do have to remedy that. So thank you for reminding me. But it does look like his art. You're right.
Yeah. And Guy is influenced by Mignola. But you don't see that as much as there. I think his name was Paul Grist or Paul Greist, who did a book called Kane back in the day, a Union Jack thing too.
I know the name. I don't recognize Kane, but Union Jack I recognize. I didn't read him, but I remember.
Well, not the Marvel version though. It was like a
no.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, which is cool. Like it's like, oh wow, like that style has become relevant. Not that it wasn't relevant back when we did it, but I don't know. It was different from the kind of stuff I normally put out, like the stuff with Raphael and the stuff with the Luke Lazalde stuff that we did with Mac Afro and even the first issue of Gone South. They had a very raw punk rock energy, and Guy is a very raw punk rock dude. So
Well,
Yeah.
so this, I feel like this style, and I don't know Gone South just simply because I only have like, it's issue 2. I don't even know how I got it
Yeah,
from
that's
you.
the hardest one to get. I mean, I have like 30 left total, so
Wow.
I
But
can hook you up
so,
with the other 2.
okay, I would love that. This art goes so well with this kind of Time Before Time is it's like noir and sci-fi mashed up, almost like if you picture Looper, that flick from about 10 years ago that Ryan Johnson did.
Yeah.
Before he made that horrible Star Wars movie, and then redeemed himself with Knives
Was
Out.
Ryan Gosling in Star Wars?
No, Ryan Johnson. Or
Oh, Ryan Johnson.
yeah, Ryan Johnson.
I thought you said Gosling.
But this it is kind of a sci-fi noir mashup, and it works really well. And I'm just really curious to see where it goes. And like you said, there is a scene later on where it's like kind of, well, with the best laid plans, ... So yeah, I really
you're in like a different time period every other page, which is cool. Like that.
It is cool.
I have a short attention span. I think I told you, or you've known me long enough to know. And so it's like, oh, cool. Like, it just jumps as I think time travel stories should,
Yeah.
or what's the point?
Like yours does.
Mine does. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Mine's a little more lighthearted.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
What else you got?
I don't think you read this, but Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters.
So tell me about this. I was curious because if there's one thing about Star Wars I love, it's the fucking bounty hunters.
Okay, well, you'll dig
Is my
this.
man Bosk in that?
Not yet. He probably will be.
Okay, I hope so.
But it's art by Steve McNiven, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Check out that.
Oh, nice.
So it's basically, it takes place like right after Empire Strikes Back, and it's Boba Fett making his way to deliver Han to Jabba and get his money.
Mhm.
And of course, things are going to happen. Oh, look at the detail in that. I don't know if you can see it, but
Oh, wow.
from what I understand, Jabba has a price on Solo's head. So whoever delivers Han Solo alive to Jabba the Hutt is going to get paid.
They're going to try and rob Boba Fett.
So all the other bounty hunters, they know he's got him. They're going to try to come get it.
Man, you might have just sold me on that. Wow.
I sell you on 1 or 2 books every week.
Yeah, you do.
I'll bring it home because I only have 1 copy left.
Bring it home. When
That's
I send
gonna
you
be
the
new tagline on the show.
Yeah, bring it home, right?
Bring it home. Cool. What you got?
Okay, so let's go with man, I have become, this is crazy. I keep talking about this. I've just become such a fan of the Amazing Spider-Man again. And
Wow.
Nick Spencer, who a couple of years back when we were still doing this show live, I remember you brought up, I was unfamiliar with him. He ran into some static for doing that storyline with Captain America, where it turned out he was a Hydra agent. People
Nancy?
were threatening Nick Spencer on Twitter. I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Fucking okay, people out there, listen. They're comic books. So if you feel like oh my God, this guy's writing this character and it makes me want to threaten him, instead of threatening him, close Twitter or Facebook or whatever you use to threaten the creators and go onto a dating app and put that energy into finding somebody who will complete you, because that's possibly what you're missing.
Oh, let's not send these guys to women.
Yeah, good point.
That's not cool.
It might not be women. Whatever you're into.
Yeah.
You want to fuck a squid? If that'll make you feel better.
Is there an app for that?
You know what? Are you going to tell me that you doubt that there's an app for hooking up with squids? Because I'll bet there is.
What's that one?
Not, maybe we should
Only Farmers. Go on Only Farmers.
No. So anyway, now Marvel is really monetizing Spider-Man right now. The core title, Amazing Spider-Man, is bi-weekly. I don't know if it's just for now or forever, but Nick Spencer's got this story going. It's just on the line between being too many things going on at once and being actually fucking great. But it looks like he's about to overturn. What is the story from like 10 years ago where Peter sells his soul to Mephisto or something. Is it One More Day?
That was that Nick Spencer?
No. That was Straczynski or whatever
Dan
the fuck his
Slott,
name is.
I think.
No, I think it's, well, either way, whatever. But
Okay.
I didn't read it then. I haven't read this comic in 20 years.
Mhm.
But it looks like that's where they're going with. There's all this shit going on, man.
I
Like
heard they're trying to reestablish the continuity.
Harry Osborn is back, but he's like a demon with these fucked up giant like millipede things. He's called Kindred. Norman Osborn is apparently like sin eater, like cleansed him of his sins, and he's maybe a good guy. Kingpin's looking for this thing that's gonna enable him to come back from the dead or something. I mean, it's crazy. So anyway, King's Ransom came out. There's a giant size conclusion to this storyline with the Kingpin looking for this tablet that's gonna make him able to conquer death. And it ended with, I'll just say that I feel like a character I love from the 80s continuity that I never thought really got his due is back. So I was very pleased. So Nick Spencer's all right with me, man. It's new Spider-Man, but it also feels like a lot of drawing on the Spider-Man I knew from the 80s. So I'm enjoying it.
That's cool. Well, that's the thing about Spider-Man. I haven't read it in a long time, but I used to love Spider-Man in the 80s. Like
Same.
Dave Michelani wrote it, and Ron Friends drew it.
Yep.
John Romita Jr. and then Todd McFarlane came along, and yeah, there was that award-winning issue like about the little kid who has cancer. Do you remember that one?
No.
Oh, it was called The Boy Who Loves Spider-Man.
Okay, I know that title.
It was like a backup story. Yeah, I mean, Spider-Man pays him a visit, and I don't think they took it so far like where you see the kid die or whatever, but
right.
But it was like terminal cancer, and I don't know what inspired I think it was Dave Michelani that wrote that too, but anyway, it was a very touching story, and it was one of the stories, again, I think it was like 8 pages long. It was a backup in one of the issues, and everybody was raving about it. And this was probably, I don't think the Eisner Awards were around yet, but it would have been one of those stories that would have won an Eisner. We got to do research and find out when the Eisner Awards started.
Okay.
But yeah, so yeah, I got to find them. I have issues like 129, the first Punisher, all the way up to when I stopped collecting in issue. It was like 400 and something. I should have stopped way earlier.
Yeah, we talked about that the other day. All those titles, like
some of them you just keep going, and especially when you get backed up on reading them, and it's like, oh, I just got to keep going. So
it's fan inertia.
Yeah, totally. So one of my things when I do my Marie Kondo feng shuiing of my collection is I'm gonna be like, okay, X-Men 350 is the last issue. Everything after, like I said last week, everything out after that is coming to the store, and people can buy it. And because I number one, like I get these itches that I want to read a certain run, and my collection right now is just in disorganized shambles. And then the other thing is like, I'm watching Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Isaiah Washington appears, and it's like, oh shit, I can probably make $50 on this book tomorrow if only I knew where it was.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, I need to just get myself every Monday and Tuesday in the habit of, getting in the garage, sorting through some stuff and whittling it. I'd like to shave my collection maybe in half,
I'm pretty sure you could probably ditch all the X-Men after. I have this thing right now where the only thing I have after like 300 and like the first like 10 issues of the Jim Lee one.
I would take it up to 350 because Joe Madureira, I don't know how you feel about him, but I thought
he's okay.
He was great during that run. It was like so different I mean, it became sort of the style you see everywhere.
Yeah,
for
I
a
don't
long
know.
time. But back then, it was Joe Mad and Tim Townsend and
Yeah, but Scott Lobdell was writing it, and it's just largely
well,
bad.
I like Scott. I like him as a person.
I
And
mean,
then,
I don't know about him as a person, but just the
oh no,
writing.
he's great. He's gosh, he's a bit of, well, you just Google Scott Lobdell and you'll see the stories, because I don't want to say anything bad about him.
No, that's fine. I'm not gonna do that anyway. I don't want to know nothing. I'm
No,
just
but
saying.
what's funny is like he comes in the shop one day, and it was Stephanie's birthday, and she's hanging out on the couch, and I'm always excited to see like a creator, if it's famous or not famous. And Scott, he was a famous creator, and so I'm showing him some stuff around the shop, and he's just asking general life questions. I was like, yeah, this is my girlfriend's birthday today, and he's like, he slapped me 100 spot, and he's like, here, go take her out, give her a nice meal. So, but he was very flirty with her, so it was like
That's
one of
weird.
those, I don't know.
Wow. So maybe the Joseph, remember the Joseph character where it was like Magneto, but it wasn't. It was like, oh, this is Joseph.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that? Oh my God. I'm pretty sure that was Lobdell, where it was like there was somebody that was exactly like Magneto,
Don't
but
put
he
him on,
wasn't
don't put it
Magneto.
Hold on. I gotta blow it back. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but and I think him and I don't know, didn't Magneto and Rogue or Joseph and Rogue, or I don't know, maybe they had a fucking
I don't
three-way,
remember. I
don't
didn't
know.
read. I mean, one of my favorite issues of X-Men was issue 303, which
What
was
is it?
the death of Ileana. And I think she had that virus that you told everybody about.
Wait,
Earlier.
I thought Peter Colossus died from that. Ileana died from it too.
Ileana, Peter died from it later. Colossus died as a sacrifice to get rid of it. Like that was how it ended somehow.
Okay.
That was issue 374, I believe.
And then Joss Whedon brought him back like a couple years later, which
yeah, and you know what, like when customers come in, and like one of the hardest things is like somebody wants to get into a certain series, and they're like, yeah, I want to read X-Men, and it's like, where do I tell you to begin? And so Joss Whedon, the Astonishing X-Men,
it's a good place.
Kind of
to
my
start.
go-to. Like, even though it doesn't do a whole lot new, it's got great John Cassidy art. It's very cinematic. It's got all the characters people are going to be familiar with. Like, I pick up X-Men now, and I recognize, okay, Storm's on this team.
One of my edicts right now when shopping for new comics is I'm not buying anything X-Men, because it's just, other than that, like throwback Louise and Walter Simonson, legends that came out. Dude, I don't know. Like, I don't know what Hickman's doing. I'm sure if you're into it, like, it's cool. Now they have this, like, the planet-sized X-Men coming out, and then they have the Hellfire Gala, which, speaking of which, like, the pictures of Colossus in his, like, tuxedo or whatever, like, all over, like, normal news outlets. Do you have people reading these X books? Like, what do they say? What do you know about this?
I have people that read them, but yeah, we don't really discuss it, It's like,
okay.
It's one, like, there's certain people where they buy books like Batman or Swamp Thing or Guardians of the Galaxy. I can talk that stuff, it's like
but like you said, dude,
the
if you look at
X-Men, it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm glad they
I don't know
it.
who any of them are. I mean, it's like,
and I'm not saying it's bad.
No.
There are some writers who I think are too smart for me. Jonathan Hickman being one of them. I don't know. I've tried his stuff, and I've never emotionally connected with it.
You know what I like that he did, and it was one of the, well, I love Black Monday Murders, but that apparently stopped. He did that Shield series where it was like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago, where it was like Da Vinci and all those like historical figures and
right.
Tony Stark's dad. that one was pretty interesting. But my takeaway from that was I always thought he was kind of a poor man's Grant Morrison, like similar kind of high ideals and like you would say code and stuff, but like didn't really have the heart. It was more the math and not the heart. But maybe that's changed. East of West, what I read of it was great.
No, I mean,
So,
some,
but
I think some people, both creators and readers, are wired differently.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so like when you pick up a book and you're gonna have to decode all this stuff, I'm like, okay, to me, I'd rather have more of an emotional, sort of heartfelt story. Yeah.
You know what I didn't have to decode?
What? Is that
Silver
good?
coin number. Yeah. Oh, dude, summer camp slasher in the early '90s, man. Nice
Oh,
little
cool.
twist. Nice little twist on the summer camp slasher. Really short and to the point. Bloody as fuck.
Cool.
Really
I still
cool.
have copies. I have to check it out.
Check it out.
Each issue
dig
is
it,
by
man.
a different creative team, right?
Well, actually, it looks like Michael Walsh is the through line. He's the artist on all of them so far.
Okay. Okay.
So he did 1, 2, and he's doing 3, and I think there's only going to be 4. So I'm assuming he's probably going to do 4 as well. So, yeah, dude, it's good. You'll dig it. It's our era. So
Awesome.
it was fun. What you got? Anything else?
I have to check it out. One I read today was Heroes Reborn #2. Now,
this is Ryan Cady, right?
No, this is the main title. Ryan Cady's
he's doing the Hyperion, right?
Yeah. I still have to read his. I don't have Heroes Reborn #1. It's coming to our store next week because thank you, Diamond. But #2, I read it because it's written by Jason Aaron. It's got art by Dale Keown. Look at that.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah. So I mean, it's really. Oh, dude, check this out.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like
now
that's Hyperion who, huh?
I look at this and I want to read it, but it's called Heroes Reborn, and that immediately induces a gag reflex.
Well, they're using a title to tell a different story. So, look at there's Ultron. I mean, it's big blockbuster, mindless, mega superhero fun. Is essentially what it is. And
so what's the premise?
So the premise, well, back in the day, back in the Avengers, like in the early to mid 70s, they created a team called Squadron Supreme.
Yeah.
And Squadron Supreme is essentially the Justice League. I mean, you had Hyperion, you had I can't remember the girl's name, but I mean, if you look at the variant, she looks just like Wonder Woman.
I saw it. I wondered who that was.
Yeah. Oh, look at. I mean, dude.
Yeah. Right.
So, there was a series in the 80s, a 12-issue miniseries written by Mark Grenwald, and it predated Watchmen. But it was it had a lot of the tropes that you hadn't seen in comics before, where you have this team and some of them turn evil and against each other and stuff later in the series.
What was this series?
It's called Squadron Supreme.
Oh, okay, got you.
And it lasted 12 issues, and then so what they're doing now, and I don't know why they're doing it, because the squadrons, maybe this is why they're doing it. The same thing as with Man-Thing. Squadrons become a little obscure, and Man-Thing is obscure as well. So
they're gonna franchise them. That's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, maybe they're just trying to polish these things off. And
well, dude, look, I mean, their success with Guardians of the Galaxy is fucking astronomical. And 10 years ago, nobody knew who the fuck that was.
So so basically the Squadron Supreme has come to the MCU proper, and it just looks like they're annihilating everybody. So I mean, we all know Hulk's not going to stay dead. Galactus isn't going to stay dead.
So, but what is it like? So the heroes being that series in the 90s, which is god awful, was wasn't it when they came out of Onslaught, the way that was it Onslaught or Age of Apocalypse? They came out of that and all the heroes sacrificed themselves.
There was Age of Apocalypse. Yeah, I think it was Onslaught. Because the reason they did it was they wanted to get to kind of get the Image guys back working
Yeah.
on a Marvel series. That was the purpose for doing that first Heroes Reborn, and I think there was each were 4-issue miniseries. You had Jim Lee on FF, Rob Liefeld was on Avengers. I can't remember who else.
There was Fantastic Four. I think that was the only one out of that I read.
I think that was Brett Booth, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah, but anyway, so they had these big name creators.
It was garbage. I mean,
so yeah, they had these big name creators doing these famous heroes, and then they had it lasted 12 issues each. It wasn't
okay.
Yeah, Rob Liefeld did Captain America as well.
Oh God, that's among the worst art of all time.
And then what's funny is like issue 5. I don't know if he quit or he got fired, but he went and he took his pages that he had finished for Cap that weren't published and modified them and got the rights for Fighting American, which was essentially Captain America, and was able to recycle and.
So he's basically doing what Wyatt Russell's John Falcon, John Walker. Liefeld was basically the real life John Walker, where he wanted to do Captain America, was told he couldn't, so he just modified it.
Yeah, I don't know if he quit or what, because I feel like he finished out the Avengers one. I'd have to go back and look, and I do have those. And that might be something that you'll be finding in the bins here.
Yeah, that's bin worthy, man, my friend. Dude.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was the whole. They were reborn, like they had died to save whatever.
Well, into another dimension. But they started over. It wasn't like the versions from the regular MCU. And then they had a little like 1-issue double-size Avengers where everybody got brought back. And that was the Heroes Return. So Captain America got a new #1. That was actually a really good series. What sucked about Heroes Reborn was there was a really good run of Captain America that was by Mark Waid. And you good, bud?
Oh, Mark Waid's top notch, man.
By Mark Waid and Ron Garney, and it was so good. And
really.
Then they had this agenda that they wanted to bring the Image guys back. So, Mark and Ron Garney got kind of screwed, and they had to end their run early. They did Heroes Reborn, 12 issues. Heroes Return, they brought Mark and Ron back to Captain America. It just wasn't the same,
Right.
To me, yeah. But that 8-issue run was great. So, yeah.
Does this seem like it's echoing that, or like
it's just got it's the same in name only? This is
okay.
Literally, they could have called it Squadron Supreme versus the Avengers or something.
But so there's like the solicitation I saw was like, a world where there is no Avengers, or Peter Parker's not the Spider-Man or whatever. So there's some kind of alternate dimension or something, or
maybe. I haven't read #1. I just kind of jumped in, and it's just been a big like if you're like a WWE fan and you like superheroes, this is probably the book for you.
See, what's so funny about that book is like it's gorgeous, and I'm not usually driven by art, but maybe more so recently. But like a lot of that is really bombastic and gorgeous, and so I'm like, yeah, I mean, with that, not so much, but that Galactus was fucking gorgeous, right? So I'm like,
the art
what's this?
Is by Dale Keown, who you might know from.
Yeah, of course. So also one of the original Image guys, right? He left Hulk. He did Hulk, famously.
Yeah, he did a great run on Hulk, and
then he went
there's
and
a great
Pit, which was
chunk of Hulk in this book too. So,
but so it's interesting that when was the last time Dale Keown drew Marvel?
Oh, not too. He's done a few things.
Okay, because I'm just thinking, like, are they bringing these guys back just for the name, like you were talking about?
No, maybe that's why they're calling it Heroes Reborn. I don't know, but no, he's done a couple Hulk things in the last 4 or 5 years. Having raspberry creamsicle burps.
Oh man, I feel for you.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean it's it's good dumb fun.
That's cool.
It's not going to be going into my collection, but it's a fun
Right,
read.
right.
It's something
It's
that,
fun read.
you know, when somebody, I had a girl come in today and she's like, people say I need to, you know more about the DC universe. So
No, you don't.
no, she does.
No,
I
she
don't think
doesn't.
anybody should say that to somebody, but yeah, I sold her a bunch
Because
of
they're only going to
books, so-
change it as soon as she's like, no, I feel like I'm caught up. They're going to be like, oh, we change everything.
Yeah. No, I recommended Bendis's Justice League. He's on Justice League now. I don't know if you know that.
Oh,
Batman's been great. I feel like they introduce a new like female villainess every other issue. Like when they
well,
did
because they had such
Punchline,
success with Punchline, right? Which I don't even know who that is, but
so
I mean,
they're literally on their third one now. It's Molly, and I mean they all look great.
so I just wanted to, we'll round it out because I know your battery's dying. So we'll round it out with, I just wanted to say,
Is that what that noise is?
yeah, no, I don't know. Well, you said you were at 20%, so you got to be low.
I'm at under 10 now.
The next issue of Home comes out next week, I believe, on the 19th. So I finally read this. You talked about it. Crystal talked about it. This is phenomenal. I would recommend everybody read this book. I thought it was very, very touching. And, you know, one of the great strengths of comic books is it allows you, I've always thought I learned a lot about like how to treat people and just like basic life lessons. I mean, yeah, I learned them from living and from my parents and from my friends, but I also learned stuff from comics. And it's, you know, it's kind of like Christian Slater at the beginning of True Romance, where he's explaining to Patricia Arquette, like, oh, see this one, you know, the heart goes to the bottom of the ocean. And you see that like he connects with it in this way that like helped inform him on how to be a good person. And I feel like comics did that for me in some ways. And this is definitely that. Like, this was a beautiful first issue, and it's you know, it's heavy, but it's also going to be fun to some degree. There's even an afterword by the author Julio Anta, where he says, you know, I can't promise it's not all going to be sad, but we'll get to superpowers and true heroics as well. So I think it was a great book, and I thank you.
That's awesome.
And
I remember what a horrible person you were 2 weeks ago before you read this comic, and
I was.
I've
Remember,
seen a distinct change in you.
It's true. It's true. Definitely true.
Yeah, but we should probably wrap it up before my phone dies.
Charge your phone. Get the fuck out of there. Like smuggle Kip out the back or whatever you got to do.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I'm definitely gonna walk Kip home tonight. So
yes, good. And then
I'm gonna walk him home.
He's
all right,
on
man.
his ninth tall boy now.
We'll be back next week. I'll send you the money for Kip's comic and for the Bounty Hunter book. And dude, all my love, and next week. And
all right, brother. Love you.
And
comics. I'll call you when I get home safely.
Yes, please do, because now I'm worried about you. And my beer is disappearing.
Says thank you.
Yeah, dude, tell him thank you for looking out. That's what.
All right.
That's what all the geeks and the dorks got to do. We got to look out for one another.
Cheers. Uh-oh.
Cheers.
You got that buzzing? That's my phone.